How to Be Happy Before Success by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. The Happiness Way. Have you ever wondered why some people succeed while others fail? This question has puzzled mankind throughout the ages. Looking around us, we can observe people with similar backgrounds, education, and opportunities. Yet, their outcomes in life differ dramatically. What is this strange secret that separates achievement from mediocrity? Today, I'm going to share with you a profound truth that may surprise you. The secret is this: happiness precedes success, not the other way around. Most people have it backwards. They think, once I achieve success, then I'll be happy. But this approach is like trying to harvest crops before planting seeds. Our thoughts are powerful seeds we plant in the fertile soil of our minds. Whatever we think about consistently grows into the circumstances of our lives. When we nurture thoughts of happiness, gratitude, and possibility, we create the ideal conditions for success to flourish naturally. Let me share a story about my friend Robert. For years, Robert struggled in his career, constantly chasing the next promotion, the next pay raise, the next pay raise, the next accomplishment that would finally make him happy. Despite achieving objective success, satisfaction always seemed just beyond his reach. One day, after missing his son's baseball game for an important meeting, Robert had a realization. He decided to reverse his approach. Instead of postponing happiness until some future achievement, he would choose to be happy now. He began appreciating simple pleasures. Morning coffee, conversations with his family, even his daily commute became an opportunity for gratitude. A remarkable thing happened. As Robert's outlook brightened, people responded differently to him. His creativity increased. Opportunity increased. Opportunities seemed to appear from nowhere. Within a year, he received a promotion he hadn't even pursued, one that offered better work, life balance, and greater satisfaction. This illustrates the fundamental principle. We become what we think about. When our thoughts are consumed with what's missing or what's next, we create a life of perpetual dissatisfaction. When our thoughts focus on appreciation and possibility, we transform our experience and attract different outcomes. So how can you begin applying this strange secret today? Start by planting positive thought seeds each morning. Take 5 minutes to write down 3 things you genuinely appreciate. Throughout the day, catch yourself when your mind dwells on lacks or problems and gently redirect to solutions and opportunities. Practice being happy now, not when circumstances change. Smile more. Express thanks freely. Notice the good around you. These simple acts rewire your brain to recognize possibilities rather than obstacles. Remember, happiness isn't dependent on external conditions. It's a way of seeing and being in the world that you can choose moment by moment. And this choice creates the inner environment where success naturally grows. The strange secret of success isn't strange at all once you understand it. Plant happiness first and watch how success follows with remarkable consistency. Your mind is the master gardener of your life. What seeds will you plant today? Lesson 2. The Happiness Choice. Have you ever noticed how we tend to put happiness on the other side of achievement? I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll feel content once I buy that new house. This is what I call the great postponement, and it's perhaps the most tragic mistake we make in life. Happiness is not a destination to arrive at after a long journey of accomplishments. It's the vehicle that will take you there. It's a choice you can make right now, this very moment, regardless of your current circumstances. Consider this. Your mind, that wonderful 6-inch space between your ears, is the most powerful laboratory ever created. In this laboratory, you have complete control over the experiments you run. You can choose to mix thoughts of lack, limitation, and worry, or you can combine gratitude, opportunity, and expectation. The choice is entirely yours. I once knew a woman named Sarah who lost her job during an economic downturn. While her colleagues fell into despair, Sarah made a different choice. Each morning, she would write down 3 things she was grateful for. I have my health, she'd write. I have time to rethink my path, and I have supportive friends. Within 2 months, her positive outlook had not only preserved her mental being but had made her magnetic to new opportunities. She found a better position than the one she'd lost. You see, the human mind cannot simultaneously hold a positive and negative thought. It's physically impossible, just as you cannot inhale and exhale at the same time. When you consciously choose happiness through gratitude, you crowd out the thoughts that would otherwise lead to misery. This isn't wishful thinking or ignoring reality. It's understanding the fundamental mechanism of how your mind works. If you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant wheat, you get wheat, And if you plant happiness, you cannot help but harvest success. Try this simple practice. Upon waking each morning before your feet touch the floor, decide that today you will choose happiness. Not because everything is perfect, but because you understand that happiness is the soil in which success grows best. Throughout your day, when challenges arise, and they will, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, how would a happy person respond to this situation? Then act accordingly. You'll be amazed at how differently you'll handle problems when approaching them from a place of chosen happiness rather than reactive frustration. Happiness isn't dependent on what you have or what happens to you. It's dependent on how you think about what you have and what happens to you. The millionaire who constantly fears losing his wealth is less happy than the person of modest means who appreciates the sunset. Make no mistake, this choice isn't always easy. We're bombarded daily with messages telling us we're not enough and don't have enough. But in your 6-inch laboratory, you are the chief scientist. You determine which thoughts to nurture and which to discard. Choose happiness first. Success will follow as naturally as dawn follows the darkest night. This is not merely positive thinking. It's the practical application of mental law that has transformed countless lives. It can transform yours, too. Lesson 3. Your attitude and your altitude. Your attitude determines how high you will fly in this grand adventure called life. Just as the Wright brothers discovered that the right angle of their aircraft's wings determined whether they would soar or plummet, your mental attitude determines whether you will rise to greatness or remain earthbound in mediocrity. I've often observed that successful people maintain a positive attitude regardless of external circumstances. The person who says, "I can," and the person who says, "I can," and the person who says, "I cannot," are both right. You see, your attitude is the lens through which you view every situation, every challenge, and every opportunity that comes your way. Two people can face identical circumstances, yet one sees disaster while the other sees possibility. Consider the story of 2 shoe salesmen sent to a developing country. The first salesman called home and said, "Situation hopeless. Nobody wears shoes here." The second called with excitement, "Tremendous opportunity. Nobody wears shoes here." Same facts, vastly different attitudes, and consequently, entirely different outcomes awaited them. Your attitude is contagious. It spreads to everyone around you like ripples in a pond. A positive, enthusiastic attitude energizes those in your presence, while a negative attitude drains energy from every room you enter. Ask yourself, what kind of emotional atmosphere do you create? Do people feel better or worse after spending time with you? Take a moment today to conduct a personal attitude inventory. How do you respond when plans change unexpectedly? What thoughts run through your mind when you face criticism? How do you speak about your work, your family, your future? Your honest answers reveal your current attitude position. The wonderful truth is that your attitude is entirely within your control. You cannot always control external events, but you can always control your response to them. This single realization is worth more than gold because it puts the power back in your hands. To raise your attitude, begin with gratitude. Each morning, identify 3 specific things you're thankful for. This simple practice reorients your mind toward abundance rather than scarcity. Next, mind your language. Eliminate phrases like "I have to" and replace them with "I get to." Notice how this subtle shift transforms burdens into opportunities. Watch the company you keep. Attitudes are contagious. Are the people around you worth catching? Seek out positive, forward-thinking people who lift your spirits and challenge you to grow. Maintaining a positive attitude doesn't mean ignoring problems. Rather, it means approaching problems with the confidence that solutions exist and that you possess the creativity to discover them. Your attitude truly determines your altitude. The height you'll reach in life, the happiness you'll experience, and the success you'll achieve all depend on this single factor more than any other. By consciously cultivating a positive attitude, regardless of circumstances, you create the essential foundation for both happiness and achievement. The choice is yours. Will you soar with the eagles or scratch with the chickens? Your attitude will provide the answer. Lesson 4. The magic of clear goals. The vast majority of people in our society today are like ships without rudders, drifting aimlessly on the sea of life. They have no destination in mind, no harbor toward which they're heading. And when you ask them what they want out of life, they look at you with a puzzled expression. What do I want? They repeat as though the question itself is foreign to their thinking. My friend, this is the great tragedy of our time. Most men and women fail not because they lack ability, intelligence, or opportunity, but simply because they have never organized their energies around a goal. Goals are the magic wand that transforms vague dreams into concrete achievements. They are the difference between wishing and accomplishing. When you set a clear goal, you give your mind a target to aim for, and your subconscious mind goes to work immediately to bring it into reality. Imagine boarding a ship whose captain announces, "We're setting sail today, and we'll see where we end up." Would you feel confident about the journey? Of course not. Yet, this is precisely how most people approach their lives, without direction, without purpose, without a clear destination in mind. The truly successful people in this world, those who find happiness before external success arrives, understand the power of setting clear, specific goals. They know exactly what they want, why they want it, and by when they intend to achieve it. When you write down your goals, something almost mystical happens. The act of committing your desires to paper forces you to clarify your thinking. Vague wishes become specific intentions, and once written, these goals begin to work on your subconscious mind day and night, directing your actions toward their achievement. Your goals must engage both your logical mind and your emotional heart. A goal without emotion lacks the energy to sustain effort through difficulties. A goal without logic lacks practicality. Write goals that make you feel excited when you read them, yet are specific enough that you'll know when you've achieved them. Consider Bill, a salesman I once knew. For years he performed adequately but without distinction. Then one day he clearly defined what he wanted: to be the top producer in his company within 1 year. He wrote this goal down, reviewed it each morning and evening, and felt the emotion of achievement as though it had already happened. Within 10 months, not 12, Bill had reached his goal. The clarity of his intention had focused his efforts and transformed his results. The magic of clear goals works for anyone willing to employ it. Each morning, review your written goals. Each evening, evaluate your progress. Keep your goals where you can see them throughout the day. Let them become as familiar to you as your own name. Remember this: happiness comes from progress, not perfection. As you move steadily toward clearly defined goals, you'll experience the joy of growth and forward movement. This happiness then becomes the foundation upon which lasting success is built. Set your course today. Define your destination. The winds of circumstance may blow, but with clear goals as your rudder, you'll stay on course toward the harbor of your choosing. This is the magic that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary journeys. Lesson 5. The Abundance Mindset. Look around you, my friend. What do you see? If you're looking with the right eyes, you'll see abundance everywhere. The trees bear thousands of seeds, each capable of creating another tree. The fields produce harvests, many times the number of seeds planted. The air contains enough oxygen for billions of people to brillions of people to breathe freely. Nature herself is our greatest teacher of abundance. Yet so many of us walk through life wearing the blinders of scarcity thinking. There's not enough to go around, we tell ourselves. If someone else succeeds, that means less opportunity for me. Nothing could be further from the truth. This scarcity mindset is a mental prison we've built for ourselves, and today we're going to break free from those self-imposed walls. The universe operates on principles of abundance, not limitation. Consider how many ideas exist in the infinite realm of human imagination. When one person creates a new invention, does that mean there are fewer ideas available for others? Of course not. In fact, one good idea typically spawns dozens more. That's the abundance principle at work. I've met countless people who transformed their lives simply by shifting from scarcity to abundance thinking. Take young Maria, who worked in a crowded industry. While her competitors fought over the same small pool of clients, Maria asked herself, "How can I expand the possibilities rather than fight for scraps?" This question led her to discover an entirely new market that nobody was serving. Within 2 years, her business thrived while others continued their desperate struggle. This abundance mindset isn't just positive thinking. It's accurate thinking. The limitations we perceive are rarely as real as we believe. They're artificial boundaries created by habit, fear, or simply lack of imagination. When Thomas Edison was working on the light bulb, he didn't see his thousands of unsuccessful attempts as failures. "I haven't failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's abundance thinking, seeing unlimited possibilities where others see dead ends. How can you cultivate this abundance perspective in your daily life? Start by becoming aware of scarcity language in your vocabulary. Phrases like, "I can't afford it," or "there's not enough time" reinforce limitation. Replace them with questions that open possibilities. How can I create the resources for this? Or what's the best use of the time I have? Next, practice gratitude daily. Appreciation is the gateway to abundance. When you genuinely feel grateful for what you already have, you tune your mind to notice more blessings all around you. Finally, expand your imagination regularly. Ask what-if questions that break artificial boundaries. What if you had twice the resources you have now? What if the problem you're facing is actually your biggest opportunity? These questions stretch your mind beyond its comfortable limits. Remember, abundance isn't something you create. It's something you notice and align yourself with. It's already there, waiting for you to adjust your vision. The moment you shift from scarcity to abundance thinking, you'll find yourself happier immediately, not someday in the distant future when success arrives. And from this abundant mindset, success will naturally flow to you in ways you never imagined possible. Lesson 6. The Miracle of Service. Good morning. This is Earl Nightingale, and today we're going to discuss one of the most powerful secrets to finding happiness before success arrives at your doorstep. I call it the miracle of service. Have you noticed how the happiest people you know are often those who focus least on themselves? There's profound wisdom in this observation. True happiness isn't found in what we accumulate or achieve for ourselves, but rather in what we contribute to others. Consider this truth. When we serve others, something remarkable happens inside us. A sense of purpose and fulfillment washes over us that no amount of personal gain could match. I've interviewed thousands of successful people over my career, and I've discovered that those who found lasting happiness and success shared one common trait. They discovered the joy of service before they achieved their greatest success. Take Thomas, a gentleman I met in Chicago. He owned a small neighborhood grocery store that eventually grew into a regional chain. When I asked him the secret to his success, he didn't mention business strategies or marketing plans. Instead, he said, "Mr. Nightingale, I simply decided to make each customer's day a little brighter than before they walked in." The business growth followed naturally. This brings us to what I call the law of the extra mile. When you consistently do more than what's expected, when you serve with excellence rather than mere adequacy, you set forces in motion that cannot help but return to you, multiplied. The universe seems designed to reward those who contribute beyond what they're paid for. Now, you might wonder how to identify your unique service contribution. Start by asking yourself these questions. What comes naturally to me that others find valuable? What problems do I solve easily that others struggle with? How might I use these abilities to lighten someone else's load? Remember, service doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as truly listening when others speak, offering encouragement when someone faces challenges, or sharing knowledge that might help another person grow. The beautiful circle of giving and receiving means that as you serve others, you'll find opportunities, connections, and resources flowing back to you. But here's the key. Don't serve with this return in mind. Serve because it brings you joy in the moment. The happiness you feel through genuine contribution is itself the reward, with all other benefits simply being pleasant side effects. Starting today, look for one small way to implement service in your current role. If you're a parent, find a special way to serve your children beyond the everyday necessities. If you're an employee, identify one task you could do with exceptional care. If you own a business, consider how you might better serve your customers or community. The miracle of service is that it transforms us from the inside out. We stop focusing on what we lack and begin appreciating what we can give. And in that shift, we discover that happiness isn't waiting for us at some future destination. It's available right now through the contributions we make today. Lesson 7. Your Mind's Garden, Tending Your Thoughts. Hello, this is Earl Nightingale. Today, I want to talk to you about something of tremendous importance, your thoughts and how they shape your life. Imagine your mind as a garden. Just like any garden, what grows there depends entirely on what you plant and tend to. A successful gardener doesn't simply throw seeds randomly and hope for the best. No, they carefully select what they want to grow, prepare the soil, plant with purpose, and most importantly, they regularly remove the weeds that inevitably appear. Your thoughts work in exactly the same way. Every single day, you're planting seeds in your mental garden. Some thoughts are like beautiful flowers or nourishing vegetables that will serve you well. Others are like weeds, negative thoughts that, if left unchecked, will eventually take over your entire garden and choke out everything good you're trying to grow. The wonderful thing about your mind's garden is that you are the gardener. You decide what grows there. This very moment, you can begin to pull out the weeds of doubt, fear, worry, and negativity. You can start planting seeds of confidence, courage, gratitude, and positivity. What are the weeds in your mental garden? They might be thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, or things always go wrong for me. When these thoughts appear, and they will, your job as the gardener is to recognize them immediately and pull them out by the roots. In their place, plant thoughts that serve your happiness and success. I am constantly growing and improving. I find solutions to every challenge. I deserve happiness and success. These positive thoughts, when tended regularly, will grow strong and crowd out any weeds that try to take root. Just as important as planting and weeding is protecting your garden. A good gardener builds a fence to keep out rabbits and other creatures that might damage their plants. Similarly, you must protect your mental environment. Be selective about what you allow in, the news you consume, the social media you scroll through, even the conversations you engage in. All of these influence what grows in your mind's garden. Here's a simple daily routine to tend your mental garden. Each morning, spend 5 minutes planting positive thoughts. Throughout the day, be watchful for negative thoughts that sprout up. Pull them immediately. In the evening, review your garden. Appreciate what's growing well and prepare for tomorrow's planting. Remember, the condition of your mental garden today will determine the harvest of your life tomorrow. The thoughts you habitually think become the reality you experience. This isn't mystical thinking. It's practical psychology. When you fill your mind with positive, productive thoughts, you naturally take actions that lead to positive, productive results. As you practice this mental gardening daily, you'll discover something remarkable. Happiness doesn't wait for success. Happiness blooms in your well-tended mental garden right now, creating the perfect conditions for success to follow naturally. Lesson 8. The Power of Quiet Time. Ladies and gentlemen, in this journey toward finding happiness before success, we arrive at what may be the most overlooked secret of high achievers throughout history. I call it the power of quiet time. Those precious moments of solitude when the magic of clarity visits those wise enough to create space for it. Consider this. In our busy world filled with constant noise, notifications, and endless demands, the average person rarely experiences true silence. Yet it is in these quiet moments that our greatest ideas emerge. Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, and countless other remarkable achievers understood this fundamental truth. They deliberately carved out time for quiet reflection. Quiet time isn't merely the absence of noise. It's the presence of opportunity. When you step away from the clamor of daily life, even for 15 minutes, something remarkable happens. Your mind, finally free from constant stimulation, begins to work at a higher level. Solutions to problems suddenly appear. Creative ideas flow more freely. The answers you've been seeking often reveal themselves, not through more action, but through strategic stillness. I've found in my own life that the quality of my quiet time directly impacts the quality of my achievements. Quiet time isn't idle time. Far from it. It's among your most productive moments, though it may not appear so to an outside observer. During these periods of contemplation, your mind works on a deeper level, making connections and generating insights impossible to access during periods of constant activity. Creating effective, quiet time doesn't require elaborate preparations. Find a comfortable place where interruptions are unlikely. Some prefer early mornings before the household awakens. Others discover rich thinking opportunities during an evening walk. The setting matters less than the consistency. What's important is establishing a regular practice, a daily appointment with yourself. During this time, I recommend having a notepad nearby. Often, your most valuable thoughts will arrive unexpectedly, and capturing them prevents their loss. Don't force insights. Simply create the space for them to appear. Think of yourself as a farmer preparing fertile soil. You don't make the seeds grow through force of will, but by creating the right conditions. Many successful people combine their quiet time with meditation or prayer. Others simply sit in silence, allowing thoughts to rise and fall without attachment. The approach matters less than the commitment to regular practice. Start with just 10 minutes daily, and you'll likely find yourself naturally extending this time as its benefits become apparent. Many of history's greatest breakthroughs came during moments of quiet reflection. Newton's understanding of gravity didn't come while he was busily calculating, but during a contemplative moment beneath an apple tree. Your breakthroughs await in similar moments of quiet. In our world that increasingly values constant activity, choosing quiet time is a revolutionary act. It may feel uncomfortable at first, even unproductive, but I assure you, this practice will become one of your most treasured habits, yielding dividends in clarity, creativity, and inner peace that far exceed the modest investment of time. The person who masters quiet time masters themselves, and in doing so, creates the foundation for both happiness and success. Your quiet time awaits. Will you accept its invitation? Lesson 9. Turning problems into opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to share something remarkable with you today that could change your entire perspective on life. What if I told you that every problem you face is actually a gift in disguise? Yes, that's right. Every single obstacle, challenge, and roadblock that appears in your path is simply an opportunity wearing work clothes. The most successful people in history understood this fundamental truth. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he simply replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the mindset of someone who sees problems as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Consider the farmer who faces a drought. The ordinary person sees only disaster, but the extraordinary farmer sees an opportunity to develop better irrigation systems, drought-resistant crops, or to diversify his business. The problem itself contains the seeds of its solution and often much more. You see, problems are nature's way of strengthening us. Just as muscles grow stronger only when they encounter resistance, our skills and character develop most powerfully when faced with challenges. Without problems to solve, we would never grow, never improve, never discover what we're truly capable of achieving. Let me share a simple framework you can use today. When facing any problem, ask yourself these questions. What's good about this situation? What's good about this situation? What can I learn from this? How can this challenge help me become better? What opportunities might be hidden within this difficulty? A young woman I know lost her job during an economic downturn. Instead of seeing only disaster, she asked these questions and discovered an opportunity to start the business she had always dreamed about. Her problem became the catalyst for greater success than she had ever known in her previous employment. The key is your mental approach. Problems only have the power you give them. When you change your perspective, you change your experience of the problem itself. This isn't magical thinking. It's practical psychology that the most accomplished people have used throughout history. Start practicing this skill with smaller problems first. When stuck in traffic, instead of frustration, see it as a chance to listen to an educational program. When facing a difficult person, see it as an opportunity to practice patience and understanding. Remember, friends, the size of the person is more important than the size of the problem. As you grow in your ability to see opportunities in disguise, you'll find that problems lose their power over your happiness. You'll develop a certain excitement when challenges appear because you'll know that opportunities for growth and advancement come packaged within them. The happiest people aren't those with the fewest problems. They're those who have developed the ability to see the opportunities within each problem they face. This perspective shift alone can transform your experience of life from one of constant struggle to one of constant struggle to one of continuous discovery and growth. Start today. Take your biggest current challenge and ask what opportunity it might contain. The answer may surprise you, delight you, and set you on a path to greater happiness and success than you ever imagined possible. Lesson 10. The Contagious Power of Enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk to you today about one of the most powerful forces in the human experience, enthusiasm. This remarkable quality acts like electricity through a wire, energizing everything it touches. Enthusiasm is not merely feeling excited. It's the fuel that propels ordinary people to extraordinary achievements. Have you noticed how you're naturally drawn to enthusiastic people? There's something magnetic about their energy. When someone speaks with genuine passion about their ideas or goals, we can't help but listen. This magnetic quality makes enthusiasm one of your most valuable assets on the path to both happiness and success. The word enthusiasm comes from ancient Greek, meaning God within. The enthusiastic person taps into something greater than themselves. They radiate an inner light that others can sense immediately. Think about the most successful people you know. Aren't they usually brimming with enthusiasm for their work? This is no coincidence. You see, enthusiasm transforms ordinary activities into extraordinary experiences. The same task performed with or without enthusiasm produces dramatically different results. A message delivered with genuine passion will move people, while the identical words spoken flatly will fall on deaf ears. Now, you might wonder, how can I be enthusiastic when I don't feel it? This is where most people make a critical mistake. They wait for circumstances to make them enthusiastic. The champion approach is precisely the opposite. Act enthusiastic first, and the feeling will follow. William James, the great psychologist, discovered this truth over a century ago. Our actions can create our emotions just as readily as our emotions, just as readily as our emotions create our action. Try this simple experiment. For the next 7 days, act as if you're the most enthusiastic person you know. Speak with energy. Move with purpose. Show interest in others. Approach your work with vigor. By day 3, you'll notice something remarkable happening. You'll begin feeling genuinely enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is contagious in the most wonderful way. When you bring enthusiasm to your family dinner table, watch how the entire mood elevates. When you approach a work project with genuine zeal, notice how your teammates respond. Like ripples in a pond, your enthusiasm extends outward, touching everyone around you. Remember this: enthusiasm costs nothing but returns everything. It requires no special education or privilege. It asks only that you engage fully with life, bringing your whole self to each moment. The enthusiastic person finds joy before success because they've discovered the secret of living richly now, not someday in the future. Start looking for things to be enthusiastic about. Develop genuine interest in other people. Become curious about your work. Find the wonder in ordinary moments. As you cultivate this habit, you'll discover enthusiasm becoming your natural state rather than a special occasion. The truly successful person understands that enthusiasm isn't just a result of achievement, it's the very pathway to it. When you approach life with genuine enthusiasm, happiness becomes your companion long before external success arrives. And interestingly, that inner happiness magnetizes the very success you seek. Lesson 11. The remarkable value of persistence. Life's greatest battles are won through persistence. I've observed this truth throughout my years studying successful people. What separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't isn't talent or opportunity. It's their unwillingness to quit when facing obstacles. Consider the humble postage stamp. Its usefulness comes from its ability to stick to one thing until it reaches its destination. That's persistence in its simplest form. The good news is that persistence is available to everyone. Regardless of background, education, or circumstance, it's a choice we make daily. Many people start the journey toward their goals with enthusiasm. They plant the seeds of their dreams with excitement. But when weeds of difficulty spring up, as they always do, they abandon their gardens. They mistake temporary setbacks for permanent failure. Remember, the farmer who plants in spring doesn't harvest the next day. Nature requires time and persistence for seeds to grow. Happiness doesn't come from avoiding difficulties, but from persisting through them. When you face a problem with determination rather than defeat, you experience the joy of personal growth. Each obstacle overcome builds confidence that carries into future challenges. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the practical electric light bulb. When asked about these failures, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that persistence transforms apparent failure into stepping stones toward success. The wonderful truth is that persistence creates happiness long before the goal is reached. There's deep satisfaction in knowing you're giving your best effort consistently. While others quit at the first sign of resistance, you're building character with every persistent step forward. I once met a woman who wanted to become a published author. Her first manuscript was rejected by 37 publishers. Instead of giving up, she studied successful books, improved her writing, and tried again. After her fifth manuscript and countless rejections, she succeeded. What struck me wasn't just her eventual success, but how happy she was during the process. She found joy in improving her craft daily, regardless of external validation. Persistence requires a special kind of courage. The courage to believe in yourself when results aren't yet visible. It means continuing to plant positive thoughts in your mind, even when the harvest seems distant. It means showing up day after day, especially when motivation fades. Make persistence your companion in small matters. Complete the tasks you start. Follow through on commitments. These small victories build the persistence muscle that will carry you through bigger challenges. When you persist despite difficulties, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am determined. I am capable. I am capable. I will succeed. This inner conviction creates happiness that flows from self-respect and personal dignity. The darkest hour is just before dawn. Many people quit just before their breakthrough moment. Don't let that be your story. Find happiness in persistent effort today, and success will naturally follow tomorrow. Lesson 12. The Journey of a Lifetime. Good morning. This is Earl Nightingale, and today we arrive at our final chapter in this wonderful journey toward happiness before success. I've walked alongside you through these pages, sharing what I've discovered in my own quest to understand why some people succeed while others, with equal or greater talent, somehow miss the mark. Let's consider something important. Life isn't a destination, but a journey, a magnificent adventure filled with discoveries, challenges, triumphs, and yes, occasional setbacks. The quality of this journey depends entirely on how we choose to travel. Will we move forward with enthusiasm and expectation, or will we trudge reluctantly, convinced that happiness awaits only at some distant finish line? I've met countless people who postponed their happiness, saying, "When I get that promotion, or after I buy that house, or once I reach that sales goal. They've fallen into the trap of conditional happiness, not realizing that this very mindset pushes their goal further away. It's like trying to catch your shadow. The faster you run toward it, the faster it moves away. The great minds throughout history have all pointed to the same truth. Happiness is available now, in this present moment, regardless of your circumstances. And when you choose happiness first, you create the ideal conditions for success to flourish. Think of it as preparing fertile soil before planting seeds. The soil doesn't wait until after the harvest to become rich. It must be fertile first. Your thoughts are tremendously powerful. When you cultivate thoughts of gratitude, optimism, and abundance, you naturally attract corresponding experiences. It's not mystical, it's practical psychology. Your brain simply cannot entertain positive and negative thoughts simultaneously. The one you feed becomes dominant. I encourage you to make happiness your starting point rather than your destination. Begin each day with appreciation for what you have rather than disappointment over what you lack. Find joy in the process of growth rather than only in the achievement of goals. Celebrate small victories. Notice beauty in ordinary moments. Share kindness without expectation of return. Success built on a foundation of happiness has staying power. It doesn't collapse when challenges arrive. It doesn't feel hollow once achieved. It continues to expand and deepen because its roots run into rich soil. As we conclude our time together, remember this: you already possess everything needed to be happy right now. Your happiness doesn't depend on circumstances aligning perfectly or on reaching some arbitrary milestone. It depends on your willingness to choose it, nurture it, and share it with others. The most successful people I've known weren't those who accumulated the most possessions or accolades. They were those who found ways to enjoy and appreciate their journey, who maintained childlike curiosity, who continued learning and growing throughout their lives, and who used their talents to make a difference. You now have the tools to join their ranks. The choice, as always, remains yours. Choose happiness first, and watch as success naturally follows. This is Earl Nightingale reminding you that your greatest life begins with your next thought. Choose it wisely.